Welcome in. It is day 210, and you're speaking to the Meeples Champion. And today we're going to be going over a bigger game. This was one that actually surprised me. I didn't have a chance to go and prep myself. So I showed up to game night for a game that I thought I remembered what it was. I hadn't played it, but I thought I had heard of it. And when I got there, I was surprised to find myself face to face with a monster-sized box. So it was definitely not the style game I was expecting. The game was called Mosaic, A Story of Civilization. Now, I don't have the box with me. I took all my pictures for this particular video actually at game night, so you're going to get shots throughout the night for today's pictures. And I'll be putting up a superimposed picture to the left here showing you what the game box looks like. Now, Mosaic is an interesting game because the concept is that you essentially are kind of in this fight of cultural war. You have a map with a whole bunch of countries on it. There all is a huge body of water between them, so they're really surrounding it. And the idea is that you're trying to get in cities. The cities will count as 2 points for control. If you have a city, you can then make farms or towns around them. They're 1 point of control. And you can also put in your all sorts of military. Each military unit, no matter which one you're putting in, is 1 point of control. So you do this, and you're trying to have the most control. At the end of the day, the game is, at least one of its main mechanics is, a area control game. Now, during the game, once you've got your special characters, you've put everything out, you have a basic setup of, okay, well, what are your resources? Well, you can get food, you can get stone, you can get money, you can get your I believe they call it intelligence. It's essentially these books. It's for the ability to research. But not only do you have them, you also have charts that are going to track these. So as you do certain things in the game, it might say, okay, I'm going to go down and I'm going to use the working ability. It's free to do, and it's going to make you choose one of the things for your chart. You're going to add your population to it, and you're going to get that much of it. So if you've increased your stone production to 9, and you have a population of 6, you'll get 15 stone. Now, you also are going to have things on the board so that whenever you put out a city or a town or a farm or anything like that, if you place it under one of these, they'll either give you additional of those, either the resource itself or the production value, or they're going to be a trade good, which means it'll go into your distinct trade goods that are on your board. Now, on your turn, you have the ability to choose many things to do. You could decide that you want to go and build, and you're going to go up top, and you're going to try to make something that's going to go onto the board. You could decide that you're going to go and you're going to increase your population. So you have to use food to get a card based on the amount of food requested to get so many population added to your own. You could choose to go and research and get a technology. These allow you not only to get a card that will give you bonuses, but the card comes with symbols. And those symbols are important because during the game, if you ever get 6 of a certain symbol, you get to have its bonus card. And the first person to get it gets it. You also, first person to get all 9 of the symbols that exist will get another bonus card for that. On top of that, a lot of these cards require symbols to make them, so the more symbols you get, the more likely you are to be able to make another card. Now, as you go through the game, it's not like you're cut off. You can still buy the card. The card just has to come to you face down. You get none of its benefits, and then it will be refilled in its role, so that'll allow you the opportunity for other cards you can get that might get you the symbols you need so that you can flip that card later. You also have the ability to go and do stuff for your taxes, where you'll be able to essentially get whatever is been paid. Whenever people make cities or anything like that, you put 5 gold into this area, and somebody takes a card for the taxes, they get all the gold plus all the gold for whatever that tax says it gives, which is usually a combination of things. It might say for your total number of distinct trade goods plus your population value. So you have a lot of these different options through the game. Once you get started, it flies because you just do an action, the next person goes. And it may take a while for the game, but you don't feel like you're sitting there stagnant. You're moving so quickly that you're getting to your next turn faster than you expect. There's not a lot of analysis paralysis in the game, and I think that's a really great part of it. We did play a long game. We took 30 to 45 minutes for setup, and then we played for almost 3 hours. Despite that, none of us felt exhausted from the game. We actually felt like the game was really, really good. It just kept going. None of us felt lost. I was the person to take last place, and it was from quite a bit. I definitely committed to a strategy that I didn't realize till too far along that it wasn't going to work. But I had a great time. And the important thing to me was I enjoyed my time playing. I had a strategy. I attempted the strategy. I was excited to see what would happen. It wasn't like I got to the end of the game, I saw I got blown out, and I felt bad about my night. Well, with that being said, let's jump in our 7 categories and see where this game lands for us. When it comes to the art, the box is actually not bad. For those bigger boxes, it's the size alone grabs my eye in a store. If I go into a good board game store and I see a huge box, I tend to stop for a moment. So it gets that advantage, but the art on the box is actually nice, and the inside art is the same. We were actually comparing this to Terraforming Mars in some ways for the gameplay. Now, I don't think that they're extremely comparable, but we were definitely talking about, how there's a lot of options and there's a lot to know, and we felt that this theme and this art actually sold it to a few of us more because, well, we could see them being comparable in some ways. The theme for this hit us harder. It was a better theme. So for me, the art actually really worked out well, and it helped sell this game for me to want to play again. So thumbs up. When it comes to the components, primarily you were dealing with cards. There were also your individual characters, which were just a larger type card. There were your individual boards, which were cardboard. You had some wooden pieces for that, and some cardboard pieces for your cities, your towns, your armies, all that went on the board. It was really good components. Everything seemed to be, at the very least, good, if not great. So thumbs up. Your price. Big game, heavy game, tends to come at price. This game can't be cheaper than 60, and I actually would be shocked if it's not in that $70 range. There's a lot in the box, and I think it's a really good game. And it definitely is a game that I think, despite its initial hit for me and how I was concerned, I was looking at it and saying, like, wow, is this for experts and experienced? And at the end of the day, I was like, it's actually not bad for the beginner either. It's not too overwhelming of a decision on your turn, so you can enjoy the game. So I think that it hits enough areas for interest, and there's enough of a game there that the price is worth it. So despite it being on the higher end, I'm going to say that this is an acceptable game for its price. Thumbs up. Difficulty. We're going to jump right back into what we just said. I think that the experts will love this game. I think experienced players will really like this game. And I think beginners won't be lost. I think a beginner will look at it and be overwhelmed, and then the game will start, and they'll be on their second turn and go, oh, I get what's going on. You're going to, at the very least, have a generic idea as to how to move along in the game. And once you're through your first game, I think your second game is definitely one that you'll be able to play much better. I would say that we all picked it up by turn 2 as to, like, oh, this isn't hard to make a decision. And it might have taken us 4 or 5 turns to master a certain area. So it took me a while to get to the point to realize, okay, the 3 things I'm really doing a bunch of, which I enjoy, there's another 5 options, and I need to understand those. And by the end of the game, I felt like I understood a good 6 or 7 of them. So next game, I'm excited to see how much better I can play because of that. So I think the difficulty really strikes well as far as you can pick it up, and it's not going to be too overwhelming or too underselling for either side of the experienced or the inexperienced. So thumbs up. Replayability. It's a long game. So you're not playing this twice in a day, and unlikely twice in a weekend. And I think it's a game that you probably are holding out to play once every 3, maybe 4 months. I think it's okay if you're in that higher up beginner or a lower end experience, but once your collection swells like my own has, it will be hard to get that to the table a little bit too often because it's just a game that's so big and takes so long. That being said, I do think you could play this with family. I don't think it's too overwhelming to family who can get beyond basic gaming. So I'm going to say that it has opportunity for replayability, but for now, I'm going to give it a thumbs down. Keys to victory. There are 8 of them. All 8 actions allow you different ways to attack the game. Are you trying to go after the wonders and see if you can get something that gives you bonus points? Are you attempting to try to complete sets and be able to get those 6-point bonuses? Are you trying to go in and collect lots of money early because the money's wild and every 2 money counts as any resource, and then come in and be able to do whatever you want anywhere? Are you trying to hit the board and get area control because you score 3 times in the game based on area control scoring? So you could go for that area. Or are you trying instead to see if you can collect a particular wonder to team up with particular buildings and particular warriors and get them on the board and have control that gives you specialized points? There's lots of ways to do it. You can easily switch if it's not working from one strategy to another. It's got to be a thumbs up. Is it unique? I do think this is unique. The overall basis of the game is a lot of pieces of other games I've seen, but the feel of that option of so quickly getting to pick between 8 actions and having them so evenly felt as far as how they hit the board, your player board, your opponent's boards, it, to me, it was very impressive. It was well balanced, and that was a surprise. I thought it was going to be a lot of AP, analysis paralysis, because of the actions, and instead they did the opposite. They completely relieved it, and that made it extremely unique to me. Thumbs up. Overall, what do I think? I think this is definitely a game that can be added to anybody's collection. I don't think it's one that you have to freak out about having, but at the same time, I recommend every group to give it a try and to see where it lands for you. Well, it has been day 210. We've been speaking about the game Mosaic, and you've been speaking to the Meeples champion. Like, share, subscribe, and check down below in the description. I'll be adding in an Amazon link in case you want to get this game for your collection. Until next time, I'll talk to you tomorrow.